Tatringa to Zadave Kabazambo and the decision to go to Zadave and the G Sobaka. That Nima Zadawata Bali Batis, Tamin Chibalis, and it did a yamda and it rain. Take Chimbugone and in a Tataku choose yes, man the ship.
So today we're very fortunate to gather together again for our usual Sukhavati Buddha Amitabha practice. And in conjunction with this, I also want to offer a bit of instructions on something called the 4 Dharmas of Dampo Rinpoche. So a 4-line prayer by Dampo Laje, Sunam Rinchen, the primary disciples of Milarepa.
Ta tende indu chane nge namja jundu ta kare shue yorisi na ta chi chu nguji le chang hundo saab si na hundo ta kei chimbo risi te takware shile shie ke yorisi chamin chin yinba risi.
So as everyone knows that I always say all the time that the preliminary stage of practice, of setting our intention before the main practice is more profound, more important even than the main practice itself.
Jimsen kanyi si na nguji chu de yao bo ji yong go yi na ngundo de yao bo ji ma song yi na nguji cha de yao bo ji yo ya yo ma risi.
Because for the main practice to be good, if the preliminary practice is not, then the main practice cannot be good.
Tende chane pe nang khangba chi la nga chu khangba chi la pe jana khangba ke o khang o yi ke ma yi ke khangba de ya bo ji song yi na timbo sa tin ziming de ya bo ji yi na di to lang khangba ji ni sung khangba khang za ga zai dam na yang ani timbo ani gun chou mi ba pe timbo ji yo re si o gen khangba de ma yi de ya bo ji ma song yi na to ka lang khangba ga zai jam na de timbo mo do wa si. So if
a house has a good foundation, then you can build as many floors on top of that as you like, and it will all be stable. But if there's not a good foundation, it doesn't matter how many floors are built on top, it won't be good. And so the preliminary practice is like that. It's the foundation without which then the main practice does not go well.
All the name to that Mundu Chude Kandaji, Sanotango Sina, Mundu Chude, and in Achu Chetanga Gone Chula, Tipachim Seati, Shekhi, Tipachim Seati, and Rodam Rosiate, and it's Samba Jachimbu and Chunimbata, Samba Jachimbu and Chudba, Dubda Mother, Tenditilla Kiddy.
So in what sort of preliminary practice or intention should we set? We practice the Mahayana tradition of Buddhism, the Great Way teachings of Buddha. And as such, in order for it to be in accordance with that tradition, we need to have a very vast outlook, very far-reaching, vast perspective on everything, what's possible for ourselves and our plans and so on.
Simchi Tam Jendo so din Yongsu Joba, Chama de, and Rang Tade, Devan de Ba, Rang Tade, Doharman de Ba, Sama Chipa Yimatanga to Shikanwasi.
So, part of that we can think of is that all living beings throughout space have this same, throughout the different realms of existence have the same aspiration, wanting happiness just as oneself wants happiness, wanting to be free of suffering just as oneself wants to be free of suffering. So to become aware of those aspirations of living beings.
Tisimji de nam ta chip devala namba mambuji, that namba sina devala chip nekap tan tartuk dewa. Tendeji Samotanga Yudane, Neka the Devata Nachu Robachi Tubira, Koranzola Pesha Me, any Minkanga Chia, any Robashia, La Sobati, Neka the Devata Nachu Lelaudua. Tantatok Devata Karesina, Dingi Deva, Lana Mipa, Sanji Compound. Lam Tambichu, Digangatine, Sanji Compound. Tate Togo Yuri. Tate Togo Yuditane, Tati Kunong Deke, or Tanga Teren Karichi the Teleyongo. Tanga, Narang Chibichi the Mayeba, now Cantadanyambe, this Simchi de now cheating a Teren Chutin Yingi. Chunimba Yinde, and Yama Terenizum, the Yino Chidalani to be Samba, Tendichi Kunong Kunimbaina. And you know some Bazambages in between Royals.
So, living beings, we can speak about different kinds of happiness, temporary happiness and ultimate happiness. And temporary happiness is relatively easy to help living beings with by giving them food, clothing, helping them get to the hospital, or whatever kinds of aid we can do to help living beings have be comfortable and so on. But ultimate happiness is the unexcelled state of complete enlightenment. And that which is attained through this very path, such as we practice. And so, in thinking about our motivation here, then it's that kind of ultimate happiness that we're setting our sights on, for all living beings, thinking that I'm going to listen to these teachings for that ultimate happiness of all living beings throughout vast space. And I'm going to put these teachings into practice for that purpose, letting the purpose of all living beings throughout space be your own.
Namjung H. Shelikapse, Kunung Juade, Kalmangala Gomja Shosine. Tennessee Kalmangala Gomja Jigus, in it and Kalmangala Gomja Mawashi, Kalma Chigla. Takondishiba Tinanji. Simchi Tamchi Devata Dimba, Simchi Tamchi Donhata Tower. The Devata Dimba touched in Hechigin, Donhata Tower touched in Hechigin Samba. That these Samba the Kawalan Royurisina, Samba the Sanchuk Simsiatilla, Ta near Royuri. I in the Yindo to near Losia. Boba the Jibagoni, Kai She de Baza Maimba. Ne Chigin, Ji Tuburi Samba, Simchuk the Jibagoni. The Nature Suaina, and it Gavayal. Samba Tamjiti Gavate Kayanga Gava Labochi Sakuri. Junju Leva Tambinani, Sancho could sing a Pinusubanaki.
And so usually I recommend a 5-minute period for meditation to set your motivation in this way for the preliminary practice. Not to take that much time tonight, but let's take 1 minute to really put ourselves into this meditation of setting our motivation very strongly that I'm going to listen for in order to bring all living beings to a state of ultimate happiness, going to practice for that purpose. And as we think along these lines and we become more and more altruistic in our intention, it approaches the motivation that's called bodhicitta, mind of awakening, mind of enlightenment, which is a completely selfless, altruistic mind that's intent on benefiting others. And so it's a courageous mind in which we think, I'm going to do this. I know I can do it. And again, it's very vast, far-reaching intention. But to set that kind of intention creates incredible amount of positive energy and power by by just setting that intention. So let's meditate on that.
다 되게 아니 가서 혼주 주세. 다 의지기 주대라. 문로래 라사지 지난주. 다 제다고 주제시대 간다지 시야요나 삼산다지. 다 문로래 라사지 시야요 말이 생에 다다 공도 시반나 뭐 의지기 주대 야보지 연구하이는 문로다 개침버리. 주라는 문로 야보지 송이와이나 의지 주 사바다 자 치료를 맞대봐. 문로다 야보 송이는 의지 주대 야보 인카라. So I
want to give a brief instruction about this 4-line prayer, the 4 dharmas of Dalpo Rinpoche. And you may be curious about what this is. But again, having set a good foundation with the preliminary stage, then regardless of what sort of practice it's going to be that we attend to as the so-called principal practice, whether it's short or long or whatever, it will be very profound and vast because of this preparatory practice that we're coming to it with.
가주 치유지 충지 시야유리 근데 전에 치유지 충지 그나니 다 가르쳐 거를 제당도 가주 봐 같은데지 라마 삼점에 샤바르지.
Dalpo Rinpoche is a master of the Kagyu lineage, of the 4 major and 8 minor lineages of the are classified as the Kagyu teachings.
아니 제당 거니 르베진의 야 가주게 가서 주반의 야 또나 다보는 보지 잡을라마데 아니 말아래 봐지 말아래 잡을라마데 마바 마바 잡을라마데 나로바 나로가 잡을라마데 때로바 때로바니 야 도진창 다 도진창이 때로 나로 마바 아니 말아 Malani anita taporum sinanda gamboba. This is the Jubato.
So Dalpo Rinpoche's master, guru, was Milarepa. Milarepa's guru was Marpa. Marpa's guru was Naropa, the Indian Mahasiddha Naropa. Naropa's guru was another Indian Mahasiddha Tilopa. And Tilopa received teachings directly from Buddha Vajradhara, the tantric form of Buddha Shakyamuni. And so this is the the lineage of this master. So Tilopa to Naropa to Marpa to Milarepa, and then to Dharma Rinpoche, also known as Gampopa.
다 다보름보치데 다 집주 말아래 밖에 투세 니마 따웨 다와 따웨 깔마 따웨 신에다 니다 감순 다 투세 망보지 요리 로마 망보지 디나니 투세 숨이 번나니 야자도 줘봐 야슈 아니 니마 따웨 아니 다 다보름보치시.
So out of all of Milarepa's disciples, his heart disciples, like the sun, like the moon, like the stars, there was a number of heart disciples. Dharma Rinpoche was the closest of them all, the heart disciple who was like the sun.
말아래 밖에 어때니 디자니 다 다보름보치데 담보띵지데 신바 담보 엠진다지다 배박.
So Dharma Rinpoche was a doctor to begin with.
아니 유만 창사시 아니 창사시 아니 지미종 아니 강아 망보 진체 아니 고와랑 임종지 아니 임종 그타 용네 아니 다 취남 받다 와시네 아니 유마 게랑 체르딘 바 드란진 베게랑 체딘지 차네 아니 체지 르지라 다 사자진비 또바 주리 제소네 사자진비 공방고 또바 주리 제소네 되지리도.
So he got married, and his wife died, and he had a lot of pain over that, and felt a renunciation of samsara, and then sought a spiritual path, and eventually took the vows of a monk and kept those very purely, keeping all of the rules of the discipline or the Vinaya very purely, and attained in his very lifetime the unexcelled state of complete enlightenment.
다 드리드 전에 다 다보름 붙이라양 다다다 아주 가주 치비에 충제시야 요리 치비 충제 그지 라마 많이 치슈되니 다보름 붙이고 로마.
So, so most all of the lineage masters of these various sections of the Kargya teachings, that four major, 8 minor lineages, they all were disciples of Dharma Rinpoche, Dhampo Laje, Rinpoche Gampopa.
就当다보름 붙이양 다 소수 지위我啦我是通出啦 아니 지지민 종 아니 강아 망본체 아니 진 담보 침박의 띵시 아니 유마 게랑 띵시 다 된대 진 통솔은 아주 된대 지리데 오만 의바 되나 산지 아니 산지 린치 도스야 되게 아니 가르치 거래 다 남트
트로파
산지 린치 다우가 아니 남트리도 왔지.
So to ordinary view, it appeared that Dhampo Rinpoche was this person who was a doctor, who'd married, whose wife died, who went through a lot of suffering. And so to the ordinary common view, that's what it appears like. But in actuality, Dhampo Rinpoche was an emanation of a Buddha, jewel, moonlight, Ratna, Chandra Prabha, something like that in Sanskrit. But he was the emanation of this Buddha, jewel, moonlight.
다 공개 며칠들 아니 까담바게 됐지 로폭 슈라데 로폭 슈라데 주폭 짱라데 짱폭 자라데 자폭 셔라데 시네 까담바데 사지시야 로폭 슈라데 주폭 짱라데 짱신 하고도 와 방금 주폭 짱라데 짱폭 자라데 자폭 셔라데 시네 다 까담바데 사지시야 다 된듯이 냠니 나니지 사르지.
So in the Kadampa lineage now, from Lord Atisha, has a teaching called the Four Entrustments, which are that to entrust one's mind to the Dharma, to entrust one's Dharma to life as a beggar, to entrust one's life as a beggar to an empty cave, no, to death, if need be, and to entrust one's death to an empty cave. So these are called the four Vajra, like entrustments or indestructible determinations in the Kadampa tradition.
다 드니 자네 다 디나시게 다 다보름부지라 숭범 보다 망보지 요리 다 되기는 용서 잡아라 다다 딱 탈진시네 주자라 파르디심바 독당 다 디나니 용 망보지다 진도이 소라空的 도대지 다 파신도 주세바 같은 망보지 산주순빈 냠니다 다 망보지 요리 다 디기는 차시 랑도 다 차시스난다 다 노도데 다 답부 취시해야 돼. 디나나 마빠비르시.
So Dapa Rinpoche's most well-known work is the Jewel Ornament of Liberation, the Path to Enlightenment, which explains all of the practices of the Bodhisattvas, such as the six perfections. And this four-line prayer is an extraction from that. It's essence or part of this extensive work of his.
다다 고란 그 주진부 강설이 시대 답부 타긴 들어와. 내가 저 때는 답부 주연들 시야다 고란 그 뒤에 주진부 강 와서 때라 기대 이러시 저런 적이 요라데.
Rinpoche mentions that I'm doing a translation of that root text of that and a commentary, so it'll be something that's extracted from that.
다 대인도 자네 다디 답부 주예들
He mentions that I'm doing the translation. I mean, it's hard to... It's okay, so sorry. Usually I speak like I'm speaking for Rinpoche. I say, I did this, but then if I throw in an I for me, then you might get confused sometimes. So that's... Namgyung nga love Rinpoche nga love. Because I said, "Kyang sung na keju chegi ba." Keju chegi ba.
They
already know he's not translating it. So you already know I'm not translating it. True.
Oh, today the Chane Tate Pe Masi Sanap Chimbuchiris, Tata Tabu Chujede Nga. 다 로니 히자키 공니 두강나 로순의 대리 자키 자니 자소순의 두강의 대리 값서 아니 가주 다 문로 문제신이 지가 요래 문로 문제시야 돼 사번 잠동번 사 로복 사치 아니 잠동번 냠데 아니 메담번 아니 이잠번 아니 라미남주번 사고 라미남주번 라미남주번 살이 값서 가주 다테티 로추선도 와라 신제 랍다서 추람도 와라 신제 랍다서 란트파스 와라 신제 랍다서 트파이 시즌 차와라 신제 랍다서 주라 띵인지 신제 말로바 지와라 신제 랍다서 독산데니데 지와라 신제 랍다서 튠데니데 지와라 신제 랍다서 키치니라 지와라 신제 랍다서 뉴와니데 지와라 신제 랍다서 신은 다땡아 주 싸게 라미남죠라 담보 답부 취지야 된 거래자 아니 유거든이 몰라되네 어때인지 자네 Pemasi Kajupa, Tata Tapu Chujet, Pemasi Salapchimbo. Mudum Bumja Masana, Gengo to Sokaya, Bum Bum to the Sidangi, Lochus and the Warsinja of the Chulam, the Warsinja of the Salantapas, Warsinja of the Santrapai, Warsinja of the Lochus and the Warsinja of the Chilan. Machu Macha Ponyo Urata Dangas Pioneer. The Sugo can Tima Zone, and in Bum Bum to the Sani to the Urisite.
So when I did extensive retreat in Tibet, 3 years, 3-month, 3-day retreat, there was the hundreds of thousands of preparations that I did, which included 100,000 prostrations along with 100,000 recitations of refuge, and 100,000. Then 100,000 100-syllable mantras, 100,000 offerings of the mandala, and then 100,000 guru yoga practices. And for the guru yoga practices, we would use this 4-line prayer, 4 dharmas of Dapo Rinpoche, which is considered tremendously blessed in our tradition. And our practice of Guru Yoga would be to first of all recite these 4 lines. May my mind turn towards the Dharma. Just make sure. Please bless my mind to go to Dharma. Please bless my Dharma to become the path. Please bless me so that the path is cleared of deception. Please bless me so that deception arises as wisdom. And then continuing on from there with more and more prayers. Then may I develop unmistaken samadhi in my mind. May I attain it on this very cushion, this very meditation cushion, in this very session. May I attain it in this very session. May I attain unmistaken samadhi in this very instant and absolute earliest possible. So the prayers, please bless me for this. So all emphasizing the root of these four lines from Dapo Rinpoche, all focused on this very blessed prayer. And even if someone is not in retreat, say lay people, will say this prayer, 4-line prayer itself, 100,000 times. They'll say it over and over again. So.
Yinayang tan dunju chik mari chide. Tabare shila kon dunbasi dun dewa yina si junchi chimadawasi.
But it's not just for recitation, it's not just for saying something in your mouth.
Ta dinan kare sung yuwade ani nga chui lalin tukne. Tate doya ke chimborisi.
It's very important for this to meet up with our practice, for this to apply to our practice.
대인들자네 다 드랭아게 로추선도 와서 jelab도서 출람도 와서 jelab도서 세야 대니 드랭데 시작 아니 니데 dunhaji 말이다.
And so today I'll explain about the first 2 lines, and then next week Monday the second 2.
다 로추선도 와서 jelab도서 로세야데 벽에라 sikla pe masi nipa chimbuchi korang lo chusun do war sinje labdo so seya nechane lo chusu songna kare pingi yo ba lo chusu ma songna kare nyoge yo ba tichi ga so de dupso ni de neche ndusi samno tangdu ramjin ga ha koya ndachi lo chusun do war sinje labdo so ro seya de sikla nipa chimbuchi yorichi.
So this first line, please bless my mind to go to the Dharma, in Tibetan. Lo, mind, chusu, draw, to go to the Dharma. Jinji, love to soul, please bless me. They're very potent words in Tibetan. Very powerful words to say. When you think about all the drawbacks of the mind not being dharmic, not going towards the Dharma, and all the great benefits that come from the mind going to Dharma, becoming the Dharma quality. And this kind of can give you an idea of the power behind this prayer.
Tape nange kada kondu shiba naji simjin chama ani tachigdu dewan de ba tachigdu dungal men de ba.
So like I said, all living beings want happiness, solely want happiness, solely want to be free of suffering.
다 kondu shiba nanji yang nega ku dewa tela nega ku dewa ta nega ku dungal sayate nega ku dewa duyate ta ngachu macham maze ba ani dunro chama ke na ha ko yurisi.
And temporary relief of suffering and temporary achievement of happiness is not difficult to understand. Even animals understand that very well.
Yinaya ngarang chu di meil lutinde tichi damyogi chu chobje de mulu rumbochi si mulu rumbochi se de chi ta sanje ke sai konfang de bala mid mrong ke lam chebar da papa tin chebar da papa ani ngarang chu ma kangba ni chu de ro de ni ta madela ani yina manda wa chi ta lutin chebar da papa yina mandawa namchu cheba da papa tanda chi yurisi.
But the type of life form we have as a human being is something that's very special, a precious human life, with the capacity to understand and practice Dharma. It's a very special life form, unlike any other, in which the practice of Dharma is possible. So it's possible to accomplish much more than just temporary relief from suffering and temporary happiness.
Tan tardok dewa yang taba. Ngaranju kacang ne kodo shiba naji. Temdre juni kanani marekpa duzi nambari shiba menta zok jimchi trok rikpa chowa sapa asi. Ati temdre juni de ludo katsurda eni juni che nirwa. Sapa ke juni tada ngaranju rikpa da sapa si. Ti sapa ke juni de che gwa ina eni chi yang mana dra chomba kompang eni sanje ke kompang sanju sumpa kompang. 가롱지 마토 바르드 아니 ngazu 디 동학의 주인데 치에터고 요 말이지 다른 ngazu 거와 동학의 잠소들 내대 요리지 디 동학의 주지가 람텔라 다 가르리시나 람텔라 다 담비춘 레 마토지 디 임바 강양게다 디스바가 동학의 주인데 주고나 담비춘 델레 마토 다 람심바 강양메바 다 참인치 이바리지.
And I've mentioned before about the 12 links of interdependent origination, by which beings take birth in samsara, beginning with ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, then karmic formation, and consciousness, and name and form when consciousness enters the embryo, and then the development of the 6 sense faculties, and the faculties of of consciousness, and then the contact of those sense faculties with sensations, which then leads to feelings, which then leads to craving, which then leads to grasping, and then becoming. The next link is called becoming. Which really then points to the very reincarnation into another life, followed by the birth and aging and death. So this kind of cycle. So until we attain a highly realized state of, say, a bodhisattva, of an arhat, a Buddha, the state of a Buddha, nirvana, liberation, there will be no way that we'll ever cut this river of suffering, of this continued, repeated reincarnation, to stop this link of becoming, of reincarnation. And the only way to do that is through spiritual practice, through the inner development. And so without this method of finding ultimate happiness, we will never be able to stop a permanent or continuous state of suffering continuing.
The 다 추시네 다 religion 세고 말이야. 단 잠벨링 강라 출록다 남바나 초바 망보지 요라지. 이 출록 망보지가 나나 세기치 갭주기 주바라서 봐. 메게 주방고 추름 소야라서 봐. 라바데 주바 고야. melaro bachiya ani mel ni fju meziwa kutsu meziwa desu kote mambo chi gna na shege yoresi ta ngune chi ta nga chu nangbu chu de ngarang nangba yimba cheni tele tura tanga yumar ta tu ti na yin se ne nimbo la dong thok de ne nimbo la dong ta ne marek pu nimbo la kare no ko ta marek pan de ge me na chu marek pu nimbo la kare no ko ta marek pa me sho duzi me sho sine tendre chu ni me sho se mo ta na yo go me do wa ta ti nimbo de kan chal go do ti nimbo de seng na ni chal go do wa seng na ni chal de ta lam tam bu chu namba sanji ba lam tam bu chu ndele ma to ni ro sa ta thla ji ba kan yo ma ri.
So there are many spiritual paths and religions in the world which have many good codes of conduct, such as abandoning the 10 non-virtues, helping others as much as you can, not disparaging others, and so on. And yet, we have to look at, in this case, as what will act as an actual antidote to this process of becoming, and none of those will. And and I'm not saying this, because I mean to praise myself or praise Buddhism, but just to look at what logically does act as the antidote, which can bring this process to an end. And those won't. Those kinds of morality and so on, and altruism, only a wisdom that acts as the very antidote to the ignorance that's at the root of it, will be able to bring it, to actually stop it. So we need to somehow come up with that kind of wisdom that realizes, understands selflessness.
You have a very nice smell. Marate kemola yade. Churang kari si takwa reshila. Churang la kanga chiga samari chu kari chu takwa reshila chi ta mambo chi ke pen jawarum bu chila tene sangwe ting yo le pena. Ta nga chu chi nang bu chu nyam ne chi ko nga pen che cham ni ne ja cha jang e grand te cho nga che cham ni ne nga ma ya bu chi injuri nge ting me. Yin yang nang bu chu so byong se ne. Ba. Ti lam la tin du ngarang nyunga ka thoni nge malaya lam nyong. Nga lo chung chung kapse puguti san chapo puguti se karase gore pu chung chung den de sa juban tipto den de ji yure chi yine ta chu se ya de nyamnin sin de se yong du zane ngarang ke da ha go mo do de ma mambo ji do ta churang pe ma se ya bo cha ya si ta ngo chu zhong ba ne de ya le ma mambo ji ta ngan chin ji nga le ya ge ji da pe na ta gang sa ni le chin ji ya na
So, if we look at two different people, one who's a truly a Dharma practitioner, truly a spiritual practitioner, another one who's not, then it's quite clear what the difference is, what the difference looks like. And sometimes people look at me and they tell me that I'm a very nice person. I'm always smiling. And they wonder about that. Same thing about His Holiness the Dalai Lama, where people often notice that he's smiling and wonder if he never experiences difficulty. And the difference is Dharma, the practice of Dharma. And I can't claim to myself. I don't think that I was a very good person from birth. In fact, people tell me that I was pretty a difficult case, as a child. Hard to reach or get through to. But it was through the practice of Dharma that I was transformed, and I don't, notice it. But people tell me they and like people from my village and different people, talk to me about how well I've turned out or become. And so in my case, you can see it right in the very instance of my own life. On the one part there was without Dharma, which was one thing, and then later on there was with Dharma, which made a big difference.
Mengta sine Dharma se ade chetang goni Sanskrit la Dharma se din zimba da choba jina koyure te ma chu ma da ma pa mde puyelo pa mde chu se ade kandre ya boji den pa mde jane pa sa de chu le pa go do chu se ade ju chu tang shi se ya ji churang ju chu tang gore ji ju chu tang wa ji le go do 주 주시 밥자나를 주스 주시나 포는 내다 진접세 마음이가 다다치시 당조나니 대나 빼는 주시나 다 주주 땅 거래지 마음 봐라 다 주시도 전에 주주 땅식시네 그치 다 주는 주주 땅 거래지 Dharma chula pamji tuen tela kokodo wasi.
So the word for Dharma, which is the Sanskrit word in Tibetan, is chu. And it has a meaning of to hold, to grasp. But what it really comes down to meaning is transformation, need for inner transformation. And in one pronunciation and spelling, it's actually an imperative, it means change, transform. So that the meaning of Dharma is a profound, deep meaning.
다 되는데 자네 로 추선도 와라 신자 랍도 소지 로데 맞지 로스야 돼다 주 마랑 바직 내가 추가 마들 바직 니모 동아 니모 두숨 내지게 란신 봐 로데 다디 다모데
Please bless my mind to go to Dharma. So then mind in Tibetan is this first word lo, and so it's referring to the mind that's wild, that's untamed, that's not in a good sense though, that's out of control, with the afflicted states of mind, the afflictive emotions of ignorance, greed, jealousy, of attachment, and aversion, the 3 delusions, the 5 delusions, the uncontrolled, the out of control mind. We're praying that may that transform into the nature of Dharma.
로스야 돼. 다 로스야 돼. 늦지 봐. benna. 나랑 주대 아니 마랑 바지 봐. 늦지 상로 땅인데 다 추스야 되게 아니 되게 님보세네 다. 그 님모 동아 그 로텔라 아니 님보세네. 다 추스야 돼.
So Dharma then in effect is the remedy for deleterious minds, minds that are harmful, that are disturbing, uncontrolled.
추스도 와서 잘랍다스. 다 추스야 되게 저 땅가 거니 추라양 다 남바만 보이래. 땅에 벽에 인도와 자바나 히마자도 다지 다가 가르쳐 거리지. 추는 십자람다 다때 마시는 데도 추는就是주요 시다 이내양 다때가 주시에 이마가 추 달마스야 데 가르치나 아니 냠린시야. 이는 유몽그 님보는 거야.
Okay, so there are actually many different meanings for this word Dharma, but the principal one that we want to look at right now, that's all, Gary?
유몽그 님보는 거야.
Is the practice of Dharma, and so that which acts as an antidote to the afflictive emotions. I use the word delusion often in my translation of that word, but so those disturbing, afflicted emotions, or they're not emotions. What are they? They're deluded states of mind. So it refers to the ignorance, attachment, craving, clinging, and then aversion, hatred, anger, and then greed, miserliness, jealousy. The antidote, what acts as the antidote to all these negative states of mind.
로 추선 로고요나 간사 되니 로 추람나 뚱킹게 라마 체딘지를 담본 해야 돼 계신 모르지.
So for this process, it's very important to have a guru or an instructor who can reveal Dharma to you, who can show you Dharma.
간시나 람 띵킹 되라 야보지 마성아 이나 띵즈 람데 축노르게 인가 요레시.
So
람 띵당 논네 람 띵킹 되라 체딘지 요바이나 lam tins lam tele lam chidin di tingrawasi.
And so if the teacher is not qualified, there's a chance of getting onto a mistaken path. Whereas if it's a qualified teacher, then we can find a path that's not mistaken.
The name Jane, the Lord chosen the water single of the soul. Tatechi, the hard Lord chosen Masoma Kanzachik, money, time you might the on the Lord chosen the water single of the soul, Sine, Annie, the Nimchi Tuto Danny, de la Melamsi, de la Sovata. Annie Labardichi gave it in Chini the Dembachi Ranke. Ni shows, the Lama Tenig any, Lam Chida Dimbachi Tin, the Lam Yamsel Limbachi. And so
as we make this line of the prayer, please bless my mind to go to Dharma. Then we're thinking, like, I haven't been that dharmic up to now, but from now on, from this day forth, my mind always go to the Dharma, go towards Dharma. And in particular, then for that to happen, then there's the need for the teacher. And so included in that prayer is may I have a qualified teacher, may I find a qualified teacher, may I receive the instructions, the correct path from them, and be able to understand, learn the path correctly from them. So all of that's included in this part of the line of the prayer.
That Dindichi got Lord Chusun draw, that Durab Dinani, you might not of it to soon Dindichi Nani. Law Chita Dimbachi Chusun Roala, Kale Caporis. You might not of it to soon Dindichila. Tadela Kandichi Gondo Sina, de la Jew, Bella Lord Chusun Roala Jew. Momasuna Mambo Sa. Any rangachi Mona Mambo, Chitap. Monam da Suna Mambo Chisa Yali, T. Juchin Temple Mambo in Zomne. The cup Ringazana. Any met Kanza Nire, any Chilo Chusun Walla. Then on the horse is Pen Egyptian Malare Pesonwa.
Okay, so for this to happen in a qualified way, please bless my mind to go to the Dharma. In what's traditionally understood by that, it doesn't happen very often. It's a complete transformation where the mind and the person in their life just completely goes to Dharma without any. And so in these times in which we live, this century, these times of degeneration, when there's a lot of violence and obstacles and so on, it's difficult for that kind of full turning towards the Dharma to happen. It will happen with just maybe very few people, and because the causes are required for that to happen, which means that there has to have been at some point in your own past creation of a great amount of merit, positive energy, and then also many prayers said for this to happen in the past. So when those causes are present, then it will happen in a very powerful, complete way.
Pomolo chunchuni. Tendechi pomoni ya yonga sari. Malare batini ma yong the caps. Oh, tell Numba in those tatas. And the Malare balan challenge that is called Numba Jesse. Tatulo Marawa, Dong in Barwa. The city. And the Malare baki, a Numba in a churning those. And Malare the Jemoson. And other Numba means it, Nalati, that Jew, Bamjo, Payo, Mayo. Pesha you, and in Kamba you, to law you, Tama you, stop a motic. Other Numba means now one but times here. And in Malare bucket. Nan that you Numba Yuna, Tinsan Gosaris, did to shoot the Goris. the Churang Sunam can add Nuba Chamadosi. Numba Nada Charos in the Churang Sunam with the Numba the Nada Numba the Churang Sunam can Manchurista. Churang New down the pay, Doctor Norris, and Nan New down the pay of what Norris, and Nita Numba at the Inaya, Nan New down the Chugason in Yoson star. Chugason Nuba New down the Churang, Nan New down the Churang Nona, Churang Sunam with the Yin, the Sunam the Churang Mendosi. Or the song you did.
So one time was Milarepa was walking outside his retreat hut, and he didn't have to worry about wearing any clothing. There was no one around much, and so he would go naked. And then one time he was walking outside, and there was a couple of young girls were coming the other way, and they cried out, "Oh, look! Some crazy person there. It looks didn't look very nice, kind of ugly, crazy." They go, "Oh, it's a crazy person." And then Milarepa said to them, "Oh, if I'm the crazy one, you're the crazy ones." And then they replied, "No, we're not crazy. We're wearing clothes. We eat food. We have a house to live in. We're not the crazy ones." And then Milarepa said, "Okay, well, the kind of craziness I have is what's needed nowadays. This is the kind of craziness we have. Okay, maybe we're both crazy, but my craziness is better than your craziness because my craziness came from something, that you wouldn't even be able to, hope for. You don't have the merit to experience the craziness that I have." And so he's referring to that vast amount of merit and prayer that would have had to have led to this. And this is an example of the mind turning to the Dharma.
Lotus Norris de la Dososia, the name by it, and then do Sanita, Lotus Swaina, Kanzate, Chusun Pena, Penang a Pejian, American Nangla, Membrocate, Mercate, Yugonata, Saya Mambo Ujiri. This Hayanani, number 2 Yamlin sinking Cateona. That number 2 Yamlin sinking Yubaina, the Julity Sambatang, Ninjetang, Dunayang. Only the Tawa Tone Sanjaka compound, Sanju Super compound, Nintuko compound, Thomas Homa in a young. Kanza take a jewel ninja, Kanza take a jewel Samba ninja, Dunayarwa. The Niji Uruasi. The Niji Uaina, Penata, Jachanda, Kordang Sena, Jacha, Kateona, Jacha Nishitanga, American Nambachi Uaina. Di Kanza take a Lumbate, Nana de Urata, Lumba Korang pink Urista. Lumba Korang ship de. Mela ship de una, Lumba Korang ship de Yukalarwa. What the day in the Chanitan, Zambilin Gangli Samotamba in a young. Tan number 2 Kate, Yamin Sheba in a tea jewel Dunaya and Sambata, Ninji. A Dunayang, Duntal sheet. I aboji son when a young aboji in a chin, the last Hanjaka Komatoya was share you. The legend Mazoma in a Dunayang, number 2 of Pachajan, Chun Della Lochus song to Legiswaina, and it's that the young Yuris.
So, if only this could happen for many people. If we think about how many millions and billions of people, the millions of people there are that live in this country, for instance, and the number of people that would be aspiring Buddhists or practicing Buddhists. If that number could reach some large percentage, like 25% of the people or something, then to think about the kinds of qualities that those people would be embodying of love and compassion, even if they don't have high realizations of wisdom, to attain states of nirvana and enlightenment, but still, by having those kinds of positive attitudes and ways of relating with people, it would bring complete transformation. When people have peace of mind, then there will be peace in the country at large. So if beings' minds could go to the Dharma like this, it would bring such great benefit and transformation.
lo chusun do war sinja la da sorsi ta de ke ten dor duji
So that's a brief explanation of that.
ta xie na ma bo xi yan do da
So there's a lot that's going to be talked about in the context of this
ta chu
subject.
lam den do war sinja la da ta lo chu la suwa zam ji nga so ping ge yo ma le xi yang
So then we make the prayer, please bless my Dharma to become the path. And so for a mind just to turn towards the Dharma is not enough.
den du zane chigang tama de chigang ni ba de ge gang ba ni ba de ge chu lam den do war sinja la da so
And so therefore the second line says, please bless my Dharma to become the path.
den du zane ta chu le du nier ji chu le me ba ji ta nang ba den de yin se den kin mang bo yo ri xi jing a chu ba yin xi nga nang ba yin xi nga chu la ga wo yo xi nga chu nyam ni xi ge yo xi den de xi ni mang bo do xi
So there's a lot of people who talk about being a Buddhist. They say, I'm a Buddhist, or I practice Dharma, I like the Buddha Dharma. So people talk about this.
ta den de yin du zane de lo chu sun do wa de chu lam den do wa de ge jin bo ri xi lo chu su song cha de ani chu lam den do ya de
But it's very important that once our mind is turned towards the Dharma, that that it become an actual path, spiritual path that we're on.
chu lam de ma song wa yin na lo chu su song ne nga nang ba yin xi nga la ma yin xi pe na nga da jin la ma yin xi nga ji ji yin xi meng da men da kun ne ani chu bu zu ki chu mi si su wa da ji chu bu zu la ti ne chu ma yin ba ge le ga le ni ga yo ro xi ha go so chu lam de ma song wa yin na meng da men da nang bu meng ko la ma ge meng ko da wa ge meng ko ani chu bu zu la ti ne chu ma yin ba ge le ga den de yin du za ne
So if our Dharma does not become the path, then it might remain more of the outward form of Dharma. We might say, I'm a Dharma practitioner, I practice Dharma, I'm a teacher, whatever. But if it's not actually transforming us, if it's not an actual spiritual path of transformation, then it's a danger that we'll become just a facsimile of some kind of reflection of a Dharma practitioner.
ma ma chi ki de tam ju xie ma chi ge ne gom ja ge yin si ma chi gom ja de sa wa
There's a story about somebody meditating.
ne ko ran zhuo bo ya xu jie sa nam ju ko ran ni zhe mo de zhe de xi de sa zhuo bo jie sa ko su le yang ko kon ram ja cha ko le ji da sa de la
So he had this one buddy that he would joke around with, and that friend came by and just hauled off and gave him a big smack on the cheek as he was meditating there.
ko lam sang ha le ne ta ngo chi pa chi to si pa ro sa chi chu ga ri xi ge yin si chu pe si de ko kong to sa sa ra
So he immediately jumped up and said, "What are you doing?" and got angry.
ta ko pe cha pa de ma de ko pa ko lam na chura gong ga ri ja ge yu si da
And then his friend asked him, "What are you meditating on?"
jin dang te na chu ben cha da dong si ya de be na jin dang te na ni le lao si ni chu be cha da dong do si jin dang te na
So when all the conditions are conducive, it's very easy to be a Dharma practitioner.
den de yin de za ne ni ka dam be ge bi xin ni na be chu ge che da de nyam ni ge che da de ta do rin tu ba den de ji si li ka so ga ne ji ge do si na din ga la ma de ani gom ja de nge te nam ju xie ge yo a pe nen de la do kal po ten de ji ma bo ji de kal po ten ka xi ji ya de le de na bo ji xa ani ni mong ko to pa la so pa da me ge to pa la so pa ji ne ka so de na bo re re ya ani sam ba da nin ji dang ani to ni ka ta wa la so pa dang den de nang ko ke yung din la so pa den de ji ne ka so de kal po re re lang den de nang ko wa den de na ni ka so dang bu ka so ani de na bo jang jang ne ma do kal po ji ga yung ko mo do wa ani lo da da wa da lo den de sin tu ne ani nyam ne si den de se cho ja de le ka so ani dang bo ta de na bo jang ani yuma re de ka bo kan san le ani yuma de palam ji ne ani de ka po na bo ni da nyam di ani yuma ta de ka po le ma to na bo ji am le 다 던지지 연구도와 다 취해야 돼. 샘 주주 따야로. 샘 주주 따는데 딘토라 마 대네. 다다랑 딘토라 마 대네. 다 샘세야 돼. 랑거 로데 랑거 꼬도 맞아 버리다. 나그 추랑 가래 상고요. 내 추랑 시그 말아. 나는 운시 오는 마도. 내 가래 상고도 내 참아 시그이다. 근데 인도 자네 랑그 샘 주야라 랑레 라서지 요 말이. 빼나 따 안에 시운데 따 시운이 값서 따 딜 삽조는 딜은 로그라 따 딜 삽조는 따 딜은 로그라 아까 싸고 좁아나지 나랑게 샘때 나랑게 딱 보자네 다 로치스 꼴리 값서 던지 시작해 좀 보자지.
So the real test of Dharma practice is when things get difficult, when we meet with obstructions, and that's the Kadampa, ancient Kadampa masters would mention that as that being the real measure, if you can keep it up when things get difficult. So like I've mentioned before, meditating with the white and dark stones, where you watch your mind, and when you have a positive insight or feeling or some kind of positive state, then you put out a white stone. When there's some confused or negative state of mind, using a black stone to enumerate it. And at first there will be many more of the black stones, but then working with it, with the eventually we can reach a state where we'll have equal numbers of the stones, and then it can even happen at some time that we end up with only the light-colored stones, none of the dark ones. And so this can be accomplished. I mean, for transformation of the mind, that's what meditation is about. We're sitting down on the cushion and we're transforming our mind. And who better to do it than ourselves? Nobody else can see our own thoughts. I can't see your thoughts, but but our own thoughts, we can see them very well. And so if we're going to take control of it, we're the ones that have to take the reins of our own mind. It's like with a horse, if you turn it to the right, it'll go to the right, pull the reins to the left, it'll go to the left. And so, we are the ones that can take this kind of control of the direction of our own mind.
다 배분 남부 출의 주대 지시해요. 다 등상 로 출람도 띵킹야 시다 갈래 가보려. 네, 르시 삼노 땅도 출람도 뭐마 띵킹세고라. 제때 등상 왕나야 다 진라면의 지보시야 다 지요라 출 띵킹 되게 양지 바르시 다데 체대지 띵게 요나 미나 상상. 닝킹다 아장장 닝지. 그 띵킹 코랑 그냥 다 주대 진보던데. 가시게 나 적바 진보에 나 지지 나 사자 진보 뭐 하면 다 적바 진보에서 담보니네 들리시네 야 통보는 로야라 배 가오 제단 가지 배배 남부 주대를 주대 예시요리 주대 예라 마성은 뭐나 아니 나랑 그 로데 쉬고 소라 장아야 로그 쉬고 소 장아야 배 마시 개지 못다 근데 로 주소 장이 가서 담보 다 로도 남바 예세야 돼 요거도 로도 세야 돼. 제 고란 거는 로도 세야 돼. 로 가와리 도 그러시나 고와리 도. 다들 이거 돼 요거래.
刚到时真的要这下。
로 추선 로세야데 개진 버리시라. 이네 로 추선 로세야라 당보 람띵킹 체데데 맞게 슐라 야보지 띵거 루지 따는데 그때 이네
Okay, I just need a little reminder to remember. Okay, so again, for our Dharma to become the path, we need a qualified teacher. Our teachings of Tibetan Buddhism are in 4 classes of Tantra. which are not simple. And when we look, to see is someone really qualified to teach those things. Of course, the listeners don't know much. They may not, but even the teachers themselves sometimes are questionable. They may talk about, I'm a Dzogchen practitioner, I'm Mahamudra, and use big words, but whether they really understand all of the ins and outs, the procedures, the meaning, they need to be qualified to do that. Lois, they said Lama Tsedeni go Ross.
Lama Tsedinji go Lama Tsedin Mendosing a Sheki Yomarda.
Now I'm not saying that other lamas are not qualified. I'm not making a claim like that. I'm just saying.
The Lava Manyon, Aya Yapo in Sangomete, the Ine Lam Cheda Dimbachil and Rogona Lama Cheda Dimbachila.
But if we are going to find a qualified path, then we need a qualified teacher to be able to teach it to us. And so, in order to be a qualified teacher, there needs to happen this real kind of transformation of the Dharma becoming the path. And one way of looking at that transformation is in terms of four reversals, four stoppings.
Okay,
so these are four thoughts that turn the mind, we could call them. So the first one is contemplating what it means to have a precious human life with all of the lasers and endowments and the faith and spirituality and so on that make it up, that give this indispensable basis for Dharma practice. Teachings on that. And then the impermanence of life. They're thinking about that. And then thinking about karmic natural law of karmic cause and effect. And then thinking about the faults and the drawbacks of being caught in the wheel of suffering, of samsara. And by contemplating these points about, first of all, how precious and full of potential our life is for spiritual practice, and then thinking about how it doesn't last forever, it's going to be lost, and then thinking how karma operates and the wheel of samsara. If we think about these things a lot, if we immerse our mind in them, then our mind will naturally turn towards Dharma, and not only that, but it will become closer and closer to the real path of the Dharma. Okay, so so there's one prayer from Jetsong Kappa of the Gelug tradition to this effect, which is, so these leisures and endowments of the precious human life is difficult to find and doesn't last. There's no time left in it. So we have to stop. We must stop using it up, using this life for the meaningless, superficial things, superficial comfort, and so on.
ngangi sumsumna chege samba chege ko zabzab chege de sesima na he lo kore chi ko ni bo shege yuri da
das sig sompa kare konda.
lemde mulun kolben dohan ne yila stan besima na
So if we think about the wheel of suffering and the natural law of cause and effect, then our mind will stop seeking the happiness of future lives. Okay, so this is we need to stop wishing for some better state in samsara. So this will stop wishing for that. Kewa chimala kewa zampo the real che
tende rede tende indu tane tar meji de tini ma do de yans bisme che lebe me ho da yans me de dar komben komben pachola de dar komben komben pachola si yimu ki ji zang me je xin si da dang ran zong komben pachola pan tam ne me se pan tam de yuri da tende ji ge sim de ju la ani chi chu la lo tende ji ge sungwa yi na 아니 코멘 부조 철용나 양 미시 코멘 부조가 철가 좀 친구 말아와 무조건 코멘 부조 반 친구요라 근데 이제 자네 디니 모델라 이모기지 손나데 생각 이모기지 대다 소용 코멘 부조라 이모기지 자연 메제신熊那得正임종 기발라서 당 임종 그 체계라데 대시도
And then the prayer goes on to say that when you have not a single instant of craving for the pleasures of samsara, at that point, then the true measure of renunciation has arisen in your mind. So, we normally chase after, reach for these supposed pleasures to be found in the wheel of cyclic existence or conditioned suffering of samsara. So when we realize that that's not worthwhile, we turn away from that, we stop that craving, those kinds of things. When that stops completely, then the mind is turned away from the wheel of samsara, of cyclic existence.
야야, 다시에는 망보시한도 그러와. 아니 드레인 땅 같은 남부 취시가 요리. 지난 저간 남부 취시근도 코랑게 릴리준 나게 데레 그러와. 리용단 데레 취시가 너무 삼바. 남주 깝깝을 양에 취시가 요 말아. 랍자르 자 지든데 시시에 드레인 남부 취시가 요다. 어떤데 이제 전에 다 되긴 더 등에 뭐 주시 차와이.
Okay, so these are genuine teachings of Buddhism. Sometimes I'm not as formal or as technical about actual teachings, but that's what we're doing this evening. I'm giving some instructions on Buddha Dharma. It's a brief instruction.
가르쳐거든 가보바게 가보바 취시듯이 아니 나가 값으니 아주 주대냐면시 단 동화 송제
다부르를 양 가담파 시그르베
가담바리
가담
네
로스 나르
가담바 개비시니리
아이고 다 얘기 소나
다 들은 거 진짜 나와라 왔어
오케이
자 나와는데 전에 찾지 대신 신좀 양리시 되게 나 양리시 Okay,
so normally our Monday practices are mainly occupied with our tantric practice of the Sukhavati and the Buddha Amitabha practice. But today I've taught on sutra, the sutra teachings of Buddha. So these teachings from Tagpa Rinpoche are coming from that other side of the teachings of the sutras. So thus we're making a practice which unifies sutra and tantra, which is the ideal here. We want to unify the teachings of the sutras and the tantras. So maybe today everybody's going to just attain enlightenment because since we did that. So
Susan first to fly.
Susan first.
야, 아니 들에 가서 믹서가 대진신 좀 너도 지금 동거 인식 마치 잠지. 들에 간신나 저도 취해야 돼. 근데 지시되잖아. 너도 지도. 아니 다다 그 매고당 안전이래. 안전이게 아니 태랭당 아니 답답니들 토라는 가서 마. 냠도 들으신 동거 인식 너도 지.
Okay, so having spent this time with the sutra teachings of Dapa Rinpoche, then today we'll also have Angela and Michael accompanying us in our recitations.
Page number 25.
Please turn to page 25.
Andang Jacho, page
On to page 80.
80.
Second line.
Andang Jacho de one Yanja Inchi de Maji Lana. Dang Magwaji Ma La Yande.
Okay, so let's go back to page 80 one more time in English. We won't use the melody, but we'll just read in English. Second line of page 80. Ema, O wondrous Buddha Amitabha and Maha Karuna Vajrapani, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, measureless, I pray to you with a focused mind. Please grant me the supreme attainment. Bless me to gain Amitabha's state. I am white Avalokiteshvara, one face, 4 arms, first pair joined, lower pair holds crystal beads and white lotus, hair tied up, adorned with silks and jewels. I sit half sunk inside a lotus. At my heart is Amitabha, and all 3 figures as in front, with the complete pure land of Sukhavati. A round tree on the moon of my heart, Amitabha's mantra circles right. From it shines forth multicolored light. Rays shine out from my brow throughout space. honors Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and brings their blessings to dissolve in me. All beings' obstacles and harms are cleansed. They gain luck for Sukhavati birth. The whole world becomes Sukhavati. Beings transform into Amitabha. Parents, children, male, female, become Arya, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas. The mantra's sound destroys samsara. All sentient beings, with and without form, attain the state of Amitabha. Mantra with chant.
Nimba Tani Kapsa, and it at Nimba de Young Young Lang and you share you. Young Gubakara is now. Tangan Namju de Kajimbo Tongo. When Gorumbocheke, Kandasondo Sina. Chive Paman burned the Duyangla, Pawang Ling be down at Nimba, Nimsi to do now so what. See, and this is on your head. The lady Tane Pena. 남주 때 시에시게요. 개진버스네. 배나 아마지도 부지요나. 부거도 서로지는 로데게요나. 지금 뭐라 그 동카자리데 든데 인가지게 부거들 신앙다지 소나. 부거도 아마라게 당당지요리다. 부거도 시에게 요리데 게 당당데 아마라 동상들에 제발요. 배나 부거도 아마라 아마한테서 지 가서 남이 신에게 당원이나 아메 동상들 거면도 와. Pugula Chibari, Koram Minishi, Shaki Kanga Yuri, Yine, K. Tandang, Pugate, Amas in the K. part, and this is Tang Capsa, any Amatella Tonan. Oh, Pugate K. Tandang Telatena, no Pugatelininga, you consider some lamsang. Oh, Tina Yi, Sanjay Sancho Sambanam Chingaranzola, Nimchi Tutu, Zeve Zigayur, the Yine, Nachi to you, Gunna, to you, Makurna. That's Ziggy Melon, that is Segomara, that's Ziggy Umari Segum, to you can allow what is Ziggle and Joy, Murayuri. Kotang Telayang, any Chitate, Dantang, Nimba Yang, what in this Tango is.
So we're going to chant the mantra with melody. And I think having melody is very important. And like I've always quote from Guru Padmasambhava, that like a child calling out for parents with the beauty of flutes and violins, pray throughout the day and night, through all the 6 periods of the day and night. So it's like when a child, say, goes outside to play, maybe in a place where there's danger of cars going by, and they call to their mother. But the way that they call to their mother, it'll make a big difference. You know, if the child is going, "Mama, Mama," the mother may not really listen, hear anything, not pay attention. But when there's a lot of emotion, "Mama," then the mother will perk up and then take interest in it. What's going on? And so it's similar with our prayers to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who are always looking on us with compassion. It's not that they don't, but for us to receive their compassion all the quicker, to them to know that we are seeking that. It speeds up the process very much. So there's a point to having this, to putting feeling into the chant in this way.
다되게 아주 니만 돌들 아니 남자 준데 다 예반도 거요데 예반도 마고시 다 지난주 다단 는지 난과랑 공부 오바메中国 용수도 받쳐서와요 사바세 아니 되긴 되네 아니 다 공도 시반 난지 아니 나랑 좀 고와다 니성고 동하라 아니 때 동할 때에 저네 타독 산지 그 공방 토바를 아니 공부 오바메 지금 긴 나랑 그 문이양 다다 내 취시바 난지 로 취선도와 내시기 취람도와 내시기 삼바 나랑 그 원이 왔던데시 아니 공부 바미래 지기장 아니 투지 사람 나로지 세네 아니 공부 바미긴 칭하도니 다들한테 살바 가시진도 왔던데 전에 다오 아미 대와 실시야 된 공부 바미긴 산지 바미 그런 건 친리 오 아미 대와 실시네 다 공부 바미긴 친네 아니 당는 벽이 아니 대단 냠들 다 망본도 막와지 공부 바미데 왜 말보고 공부 쳐대 아니 산지다 산지서 봐 참마고 말보고 공부 쳐대 아니 전내절 왜 말보더니 랑게 지워라 마템 아니 늦어거니 득바다 득바 참마 다송 삼바 아니 림발래 나가 거니 득답 참마 다송 삼바 닌가래 예지거니 사베 득답 참마 다송 너 득거니 시나 매게 쥐 득득 영아 예수니 사야리 차상화되니 다성 삼바세 타르도 곰보 바미다 랑거 거 곰보 바미가 거다 랑거 르 곰보 바미가 숭다 랑거 아 곰보 바미가 톡다 랑거 심 아니 직바 직장 차성 삼바 어떤 데시는 곰자 거지.
So this is a brief recitation practice. Normally we do an extensive one, but we were doing a brief one this evening. And so now, visualizing Buddha Amitabha in the space before us, in the entire Pure Land, all of the holy beings of the realm of Sukhavati, we think that you, Guru Buddha Amitabha, know the sufferings that I and all living beings go through. You see that we wish to attain full enlightenment. You know all of this. So we'll make the prayer of the first line of the four Dharmas of Dharma Rinpoche. Please bless my mind to go to Dharma. Please bless my mind to turn towards the Dharma. And make that prayer to Buddha Amitabha. And then visualizing Buddha Amitabha and the whole Pure Land of Sukhavati melting into an orb of red light. It's the nature of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, which comes to the crown of your head and then passes down through your crown, throat, and to your heart chakra. And as it passes through your crown, imagine that your negativities of body, physical negativity is completely purified, and that as it passes down through your throat, that all verbal, vocal negativity is completely purified, and as it reaches your heart, that all mental negativity is completely purified, and also feel that you're transformed, the blessings of the body, speech, and mind of Buddha Amitabha, finally becoming completely one with Buddha Amitabha. So imagine this very strongly happening. So now we'll meditate for a minute today.
Zabzab mazen, zabzab sim. Tatren donha sun reg chunyan ni sigi de zane. Yang to se mora ta ni mi de chaman de sangje ne ta ta simoni ji bu yan sangje song.
The way we've done this unified practice of Sutra and Tantra today, I don't know if everybody's going to make it to their cars tonight. I may just take off for the Pure Land and only our hair and toenails left behind. That's what will happen one day.
There's no hair where to live.
Yeah.
Tramen du sa.
Tramen du sa. Jada chonga
Okay, moving to page 115.
Tadne dinta jimala machunde za dawatela tandi sholoka nide.
So next Monday we'll continue with the rest of this verse, 4 dharmas of Dapo Rinpoche.
Ti nimotela ni chiran sola nge kan huma tejari nin tam chuji labza siwa te jonde. Te chiran so yuni ona te chama kono jisi. Maso te chajin de wei.
And please bring those books of the heart advice of Rinpoche for next time too. The 20 verses of heart advice.